I'm Andrea Houston. I'm a news reporter for Xtra, and Xtra is Canada's gay and lesbian news. My most groundbreaking story that I've worked on since starting at Xtra in October has been the GSA story. Watching a movement essentially be started from my work has given me probably the most joy a reporter could possibly have. It started back in January when I was reading through tweets late at night, as you do, 3 in the morning, and I came across one from a colleague who tweeted a link to a LifeSite news story, and LifeSite is an evangelical Christian website, which is a real news site. They're factual. It's extremely slanted towards Catholics and evangelicals. And so what this story was about, it was on the heels of the municipal election, and so it was a new trustee elected to the Halton Catholic District School Board who happened to be gay, Paul Morai. And he considered himself a good Catholic, and but the focus of the story was that he better not make trouble for the school board in light of the ministry's equity and inclusive education policy. But way at the bottom of the story, buried deep in the last paragraph, was the fact that the Halton Catholic School Board banned gay-straight alliances, which are support groups for queer youth. And Alice Ann LeMay was the board chair, is the board chair. And so I got her number and I called her up, got her at home, and it was evening-ish. And she, I started talking to her immediately about Paul, trying to ease in. You want to back into these interviews, you don't want to hit them with the bombshell right away. And so I questioned her about that, got some quotes. Then towards the end of the interview, I stopped her and said, oh yeah, by the way, why'd you ban gay-straight alliances? And without missing a beat, she said, well, we don't have Nazi groups either. My jaw dropped, and I repeated it, and everybody in the newsroom at the time, their jaws dropped equally, and and I knew immediately what she had done. She had made this story go from a small little local queer story that, maybe had a few hits or, may have raised a few eyebrows. She brought it into an international scale. And needless to say, it flew around Twitter, and it became the highest trafficked story on Xtra.ca's history. While we got the ban overturned, the activists who ended up working on Queer Ontario Canadian Civil Liberties Association, they managed to advocate enough that they got the ban in Halton overturned, but we still had an issue with deep homophobia within the Catholic School Board. And so it was only a matter of time before a group of kids would be trying to start a GSA and be blocked. And then enter Leanne Iskander and the St. Joe's GSA in Mississauga. When I met them in March, that's when everything changed, and that's when the story had a personal face, and that's when really the movement started. Because what this very brave teenager, this very brave 16-year-old did, is she managed to galvanize youth from all over Ontario to bring GSAs into the spotlight, to make them a household name. So in September, Leanne and a number of different students are going to start GSAs. And we're going to see what happens, because if they're blocked again, then we're going to probably see some legal challenges being dropped. So right now, we are on the precipice of what could possibly be the biggest educational, constitutional reform story in Ontario in the last 5 years. It's quite huge what is possible.